Welcome to the Shad-MultiCore tutorial video. I've finally gotten around to actually making it, thanks to someone pushing for it, which is good. It shows you that people do want it. Okay, so for this tutorial there's going to be two parts. There's going to be the first part, which is going to be covering the first, easier part, which is, for instance, it's just making a simple pillar and detecting it. You can do that generally in code, but I'll make a pattern for it just to show you the basics. It's very straightforward. Okay, the next part we shall be making, let's make it a shape. Let's make it elaborate actually. Let's go for a full-on protrusion. Oh no, okay, we'll keep that one there. No, I won't. Oop, ignore that. You know what we can do there? We can... Ooh, that was an email. Okay. See, with this, there's a unique system in the fact that I could do this and add it, and it would pick it up and it would work. You could have a wonky multi-block. So what we're going to do is, to demonstrate this, we're going to have... Actually, yeah, we'll just have a random obsidian row, like that. That's it. Just like no sense. Just like, what? Why would you do that? Oh, this train's annoying me, actually. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Go away. Just because I'm in my debug mode, it actually does that. Okay, so we're going to be doing that for the second part, so don't ask me why, it was a random shape I made. For the first part, we're doing this part, so stick around if you want to learn. Welcome to the first part of the tutorial for the Shad-MultiCore. It's going to be fairly straightforward. This first part's going to contain a... Oh, sorry, pardon me. It's going to contain making a pillar. It's going to be very straightforward. It's going to be kind of pointless considering you can do it very easily just by looping down, but it's going to get hopefully get the barest sense of the utility? Yeah, we'll go with that word. Okay, so what I've done is this block's going to be the main control block. So what we want to do is you want to make it like that, and then something happens. And for instance, we could just make it delete the grass block, or we could put dirt on it, and it could turn it to grass. Like that would work. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, so when we right click that, if that's formed, that would turn to grass by funneling the energy through the pillar into that. Okay, so that's what we want to do. It's fairly straightforward. Okay, so straight into the code. Basically, most of this you really don't need to know about. The stuff that you need to know about, I'll be covering. Like, you really don't need to know about the comparison map or the layers. Anything that's private, you really don't care about. That's how it goes. Okay, so first things first, I've created a block. It's got all this stuff. On right click, it will just call scan below, which is here. Okay, so what we want to do is not highlight that. Okay, what we want to do is we want to create a dimensional pattern. We just want to store it. So dimensional pattern. And of course we don't care about that yet. Okay, so we just want to store it later on. Okay, first things first, you want to create a row. Row is what defines, I suppose defines a cross section. So what I've just done is I've just created a row with a string. Now this means because it's one by one by X amount, it's going to just contain one symbol. However, if it was like a 3 by 3, it would be like that and run down like that. Right? Hopefully that makes sense. But because it's just a little pillar, we just want one. The next row, we just want a little symbol like that, and the second row. It's very straightforward. We created a row. We've created that. Next thing on the list is a layer. Layer 1. So this would be dimensional pattern dot create layer, and we want to pass in the row that we want to create with. So because I can just do that. Okay, so what I've done is I've created, as I've said, it's very pointless with a pillar, but now I'll do it anyway. So I've just created a row into a layer. So as these rows are now being compiled together into a cross section of a 3-dimensional object. Before it was just a cross section of a 2-dimensional object. Now it's a cross section of a 3-dimensional. So right now it's storing in layer 1. What we're going to do is we're going to specify that as the tutorial block, and that is the iron block thingamajig. So now that we've done that, we need to move on to block states, which is how I detect if the thing is formed. So what we do is we're going to go iron frame equals dimensional pattern, of course, dot create block state. Anything that you'll need to do is dimensional pattern dot create. That's really how it goes. I know the metadata is 0, and I'll just wait a sec. I'll just grab what I'm doing in a second. Okay, there you go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we pass in the character. So in this case, it would be hashtag, and then we want to pass in the block. There's a 1.6 version which just uses IDs instead, and we just want to pass in the meta. Very straightforward. The next thing down, we want to pass in the tutorial block. So tutorial, let's go to 0 meta, and we want to change the character to at. What the character means, if you've ever used recipes in Minecraft, it tells you what the character references to. So of course the hashtag in this means, it means this thing. It's very straightforward. Of course we can just get this and just type in tutorial. Makes sense. Okay, now we want to create the pattern. So dimensional pattern equals dimensional pattern dot. Now there's two. It returns two. There's an update and create. Basically, when I ask you to create a pattern, I ask you for a string. If something matches in this string, which I store in dimensional map, if something matches this string and it just pulls it back, you don't even have to put in any components. It just pulls it back, so you can be on another side, a completely different part of your mod in like items or something, and it will it'll pick it up and return it to you. However, some people might not want this, so for that I've just created an update pattern. It does the exact same as create, except it doesn't call upon it. It does store it though, so keep that in mind. So we just want to call this pillar if we want to, although technically we probably just make a camel case. Okay, so we want to pass in the component, so we want to pass in layer 1, and of course because it's 3 layers, we want to pass in, it's 4 layers high, but 3 of them are the same. So what I've done is I've actually done something sneaky, and I'm just passing it in the same thing more than once. So it's 3 high, so it's 4 high right now. 3 of the hashtag one, which is of course the frame block, and of course 1 of the at symbol, which of course is the tutorial block. After that we just want to pass in the block state, which is iron frame, and of course tutorial. Very straightforward. Okay, now that I've done that, you literally just need to go if dimensional. Oh, don't want the capital. That one. There we go. Now, there we go. Okay, has form. If you actually saw that, it's convert. There is a convert, so you can use one pattern to convert to another. It's kind of useful. I've used it twice, I think. But what we want is we want has form. So what we want to do is we want to pass in the world object, the x coord, the y coord, and the z coord. But we don't want to pass it in the block that wants to start searching. So for example, this is going to be at the top, so we don't want to pass in the coordinates of it. We want to pass it in the coordinates that we built it in from the negative most coordinates. So we built it in from the top down. So as you can see, actually we build it up from the bottom up. So what we want to do is right now, think of it like a, in fact I can just actually demonstrate this for you. Be a lot easier. There you go. Okay, so what we've done is, once it loads up, okay, there we go. So what we've done is, if I go over here and grab this block, what we've done is we've just gone click, click. Okay, so we've specified this as a hashtag. This is now a hashtag. This entire block is now a hashtag. This block is now an at symbol, right? So what we've done is we've passed in 3 layers, so 1, 2, 3, and we've passed in that. But the thing is, we've built it from below. So what we've done is we've added it. So we need to go down how many we've gone up. So right now we've gone up, well, 3. So if we just go in here and change that to a 3, and if we make world object dot set block to where, and we just make it y, that. We just add 1 onto it so we don't destroy anything. That's actually crucial to the structure. Get rid of those because I like neatness. Okay, so what we've done right now, if I put a block up there and right click on there, you can tell that it has formed. It's picked it up. It's searched through the pattern that we've dumped into it, and it's going, okay, well this is now exists. Okay, fair enough. Now if I click on it again, of course it's still going to be exist. However, if I smash out one of these 3 things, So if I smash out that one, if I come up here, it's not going to work. If I smash out that one but replace that one, it's still not going to work. And of course, likewise for that. And of course, if I just smash that one, it's not going to work at all. So as you can see, it's dependent on the object. It's a very small system. This is just a pillar. Obviously, we're going to get into bigger things like this. I will do this properly, and that's going to be fun. It's a completely dynamic system, so I can actually have this here without it being symmetrical, like on the other side. So it doesn't have to be that. I can literally do that. It's very straightforward. So yeah, that's part 1. Join me in part 2. Woohoo! Welcome to the second half of it. Second part. I've been calling it parts and halves throughout the whole entire thing. Oh well. Okay, so for this second half, it's fairly complicated. We're going to be detecting this. It's actually not that complicated. It's fairly small because of it. If you were detecting this by hand, you would have had to loop through each thing. But now, you don't have to loop through it. I do it all for you. So isn't that nice? Okay, so I'm going to get out of this because we'll end up changing it and breaking things. Okay, so as before, if you watch the thing, we want to create a row. Makes sense, doesn't it? It's a 3-dimensional pattern. We want to make sure it's a row. Okay, so we want to create the row. Now, actually, you know what I should have done? I should have kept it up so I can demonstrate what we need to do. Come on. Good Minecraft. Okay. From this point, the map you design will always, not the map, actually, yeah, it is a map. The pattern you'll design will always be, as I've said last time, from the negative. So it'd be, if you look this way, that's negative, and that's negative. It'll always be from that, going up like that. So we want to face this direction when we're mapping it. It's just, it makes a lot of sense. If you don't understand it, it's just spatial stuff. Okay, so from the top, we're going to be mapping this way. So from this, air. Okay, fair enough. So the first row would be, for air, you need to add spaces. There is a wildcard thing, so I could add 5 of these, and I could add 5 of these things, and then I could just place whatever I wanted here. It wouldn't care. It would skip it. Okay, but we're gonna add. No, we'll keep it as. Yeah, we'll keep it as wildcards just for now, just to show you. Actually, yeah, we'll do that. The next layer I'll do air. Okay, so for this layer, the outside parts are just going to be whatever you want. Okay, so we've done the first row. Okay, next row. Let's go to here. Okay, it requires 3 of those things. Okay, so 3 of those things. So we just want to make those 1, 2, 3, and back to the wildcards. Okay, so right now we've just mapped it out like that. In fact, it'd probably be better facing this direction. Now, anyway, so we've mapped out those 3, and then we can actually copy those over there, so they're symmetrical, so we don't have to worry about those 2 now. This one, however, is not the same, so we can literally just copy that down and put a C there as a controller. That's actually main controller, which is what the block states mean. Okay, the first row is done. It's a 5x5, and you've only done 3 rows. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, next one, we want to create row. Okay, we want to create from the negative side, so this side, it's air. All this is air. So we could not give 2 shits about it, but for this purpose of this video, we're going to put it as air, as I said before. So I will demonstrate the wildcards and the air part. Okay, next one. Oh, my bad. We just want the exact same except 2 iron frame blocks, so that's fairly easy to do. That one and that one. Okay, make that row 5. And as you can see, we've already created a completely full air row. And so there's another one there, there's another one, there's 2 more up there, so we don't have to worry about them either. And we just created row 5, which was the 2 in the middle. And so of course the copy's over here, so we've already done the next row. The next one is fairly straightforward. We just want to create, we just want to create 2 on the outside. So if I do that, it pushes it to the outside. So now it's going to pick up those 2. Makes sense. The next one be obsidian. So 7, and we'll make them all O's. 'Cause why not? And we've already copied air from there, and we can just use that one for there. Okay, so there you go. Your rows are complete. Now we're going into layers. So we're going to layer, because it's just a three-dimensional. Because it's a three-layered one, we can just do 3 layers. So dimensional pattern dot create layer. We want to pass in the rows. Okay, so we want to pass in 5 rows. So the first one is going to be the wildcards. Then one of them is going to be the 3 block, and then the controller one, and then 3 block, and then thing again. So it's going to alternate from 1, 2, 3 to 1. Okay, so we just want to go to row 2, 3, row 2, row 1. That's how you spell row. There we go. Okay, so layer 1's done. We've specified, so if we come here, there we go. So we've specified the wildcard as a row. So that's all this one. We've specified the 3 iron frame blocks, which is this one. Specified the middle one, which is this one. It's almost the exact same, except this. So right now we're worrying about this bottom layer. So from that, we just copy it from those two now, and then boom, done the bottom layer. Okay, next layer, layer 2. Let's look at layer 2. So we want for the second layer we want all layer. We want all layer except for 2, all layer again, all layer except for 2, and all layer. So it's fairly straightforward. We just want all layer. So all layer for the middle, all layer for the other outside, and then we want 5 for the 2 kind of in the centered. Okay, there you go. Boom. Already on the next layer. And this is the last layer. Okay, so done that layer. The next one, which is this one, is just 2 on the complete outside of the 5, so it'd be row 6. And then we just want the obsidian one, which is row 7. Then we want the air one. We want to make this air. Or do we want to make this wild card? We'll make it a wild card. So actually row 1. So we want row 6, 7, 1, 1, 6. Okay? Does that make sense? Because it row 6, 7, we're going to go 1, 1, 6. So we've specified 2 on the outside. Actually, I suppose we should make, yeah, we'll make it all air blocks, because those are for air blocks. Unless we want to change that, we could change that. We'll make them anything. So there you go. Okay, so now I've just specified that anything can exist within here. Okay, so moving on. So we want 6, 7. We want 1, 1, 1, 1, and 6 again. Okay, so if you actually look at the code, that actually makes a lot of sense. In fact, it might make more sense if I do that. So the bottom layer is the bottom one, that one. So makes sense to have it like that. So as you can see, if I bring it back up there, I don't know why I brought it down. As you can see, it's got row 1, which is of course the wildcards. So all those are wildcards. Then it's row 2, the iron frame, and the wildcards, and so on and so on. And of course it continues on. Row 2, and row 3. And there you go. The pattern is done. Now, if you didn't watch the first half, is I have a thing called block states, which means it's how I track all the blocks that you put into it. Okay, so for the first thing, of course, we want the iron frame. Makes sense. Create block state. We want to pass in the character of a hashtag or a pound sign, depending on how old you are. Pass in a meta of 0, because I know the meta, and because this is all my blocks. That's cool. Okay, there we go. So I've now created the block state for my frame. Excuse me. Sorry to cough. Okay. Iron frame. Now next is the controller block. So we want controller, or we could name that tutorial. We'll name that tutorial actually. Makes more sense. Dot create block state. Get over there, pass that. Okay, so we want that to be C. Mod blocks dot tutorial, and pass it in 0 meta. Okay, so we want a second one of block state, and we want this to be obsidian. So obsidian equals dimensional pattern dot create block state. We're going to pass in the character we want, and blocks dot obviously obsidian. And of course, obsidian doesn't have metadata. Boom. Okay, so now we've done created the block states and everything. Now we can just go dimensional pattern equals dimensional pattern dot create pattern. You could probably, like, what does that look like? That looks like a retarded altar. Yeah, okay, we'll call it altar thing. There you go. Okay, so we want to pass in the layers in the order you want it constructed from down below. So okay, we want layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. Of course, you can add several layers in this, so you could move 2 layers. In fact, I'll do that next time. I'll come back to that. And then of course, don't forget to pass in the block states, or else you won't find anything's working because it can't get them. Our dimensional pattern is now created, so we now have a dimensional pattern stored. So if you go to dimensional pattern dot has formed, we pass it in the world ID, x coord, y coord, z coord, and we should probably actually put this in an if statement. Okay. Obviously, this is that block. This is the controller, right? So we're obviously searching from that. But the thing is, as I said, it starts searching from the negative, which would be all the way over here. Yep, here. So of course, if we put in those values of this coordinate, it's going to start searching from this thing here, which we don't want. We want to move it down, so we want to move it back 2 and 2 to this block where it can start searching from. So what we're going to do is just -2, -2, and simple as that. And then just demonstrate that it works. Set block. What do we want to set block to? Actually, now set it to where? There you go. X coord, Y coord, Y. Wow, my typing is really bad today. Get rid of you, because neatness, and we'll plus it by 2, so that we can actually click on the block. So be 1, 2, so be there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we want to, so we'll check actual, we'll go +3, so we can go out of the pattern. But I know there are wild blocks, so it doesn't really matter, but okay. So we'll go there. And what happens if it's true? We crash. I have no idea where I crashed. Oh, I know why I crashed. I'm an idiot, it's a constructor. You gotta restart it. It doesn't construct the thing at the start. Construct the thing at the start. Okay, my bad. I just a little bit of a Jeremy derp there. Okay, well, that is now fixed, and boom. As you can see, it removed the obsidian. Boom. Because it picked it up. But the thing is, it's... Okay, let's actually go through. See, as you can see, it didn't care about that. Because if we look back here, we created this row with row 1, which if row 1 was a wildcard, but if we look over here, row 4 was all air blocks. So if we look at row 4, where do we use row 4? Okay, so we used it in layer 2. So if we come over here, then it's about here. So if we put obsidian blocks here, and if I put that thing back, tell if it's there, as you can see it's still there, because all these are supposed to be air block. So I can remove all but one, and it would still be there. But if I remove that, ta-da, magic. That's really it. What else do I need to go through? Oh, convert. There is a convert option. So if you don't understand why it's not picking it up, it's very straightforward. Literally, you just type in dimensional pattern dot convert, and it. Okay, so what we've got here is we need to pass in the coordinates as normal, and we need to pass in a flag. Now, I've made a flag, so you just go capital F and flag. Basically, go ignore if you're debugging, but if you want to make sure it only places in air, there's air. So those are for something that you actually want to do in game, not just for debugging purposes. So if I grab this, if I come over here, as you can see, if I click this, it created the exact same thing because it searched for it. Now obviously it's going to search for air, and of course it replaced it. What else? Convert is useful for debugging purposes. Oop, that's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Okay, what else? Convert, create row, create layer. You really don't need to worry about these classes in here. These are just how I deal with stuff. Flag, as you can see, is what you need. You don't really worry about that. Basically, the only time you'll ever need to come into dimensional pattern is if you want to personally change something. But it really should work straight out of the box if you've done it correctly. So now that that's done, it's complete. Go crazy. I can't wait to see what people do with it. And of course, from my derp earlier, if you're going to put it in a constructor, make sure you get out of the game and restart it. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments. I'll probably be updating this as I go, so it will be continually updated. If it doesn't get updated, well, I'm sure I'll probably be dead by then, because it's fairly easy to update. I have a to-do list of what I want to do with this. I want to make it able to be a rotated thing. I want to make a fluid type thing. By fluid, I don't mean an actual like liquid. I mean fluid as in like applied energistics crafting system. It's a multi-dynamic block, a dynamic multi-block rather. My bad. So it should, well, my theorized one should be like this, but very similar. Just specify the frame block, specify the outside block, and blah, done. That's really it. As I said, if you have any other questions, post them in the comments. Have a nice day, I suppose. Enjoy.